everybody, it's Edward Jones doing another video going deeper into the subject of prepping or preparedness. Just going on from the last video I've made where I gave my thoughts on the subject of prepping and different aspects of prepping, how to do certain things, what challenges you may face. And I'm going to go into three things, going into food, water, and shelter. First thing I'll cover would be water, because we all need water. We need water to survive. It turns out to be that a person needs a certain amount of water every day, and they need to rehydrate. I found out throughout life, actually I haven't studied the topic very extensively, but I found out in my own personal life that thirst is more powerful than hunger. I noticed that anytime I've had a meal, I always had a drink. Drink water or soda, and have some beer first, just to wet my palate a little bit. And then I eat and follow up more drink. It turns out I'll run out of drink before I run out of food. So it turns out to be that thirst can be a very powerful thing. Water is very essential to our to our being. So it's very important that we have a means of providing water for ourselves. I live in a urban environment, and so I have to contend with city water from the tap, rainwater if I decide to collect it, and we have a few streams, a few lakes around where I live. Nothing too big. If I ever felt the need to, I could get water from those sources. But right now I'm making do with what I have, which is city water from the tap. With water, it's important to know that that not all water is safe to drink. There's regular water, then there's potable water. Regular water being the water you can use for washing clothes, washing dishes, stuff like that. And then there's potable water, which is water that you are able to drink and draw some type of health benefit from it. So if you don't have access to potable water, it's important that gets fixed. I'm not sure if you can hear it. My neighbors upstairs are using water right now to take a shower at this time. But to make potable water, there are many different ways. You can, if you collect water from the stream, you can run it through a filter to filter out any sediments, any particles, sand, rocks, what have you, whatever you're collecting your water from. To go to just to get the big things out of it. Microbes, any bacteria, you have to worry about that if you're getting any water from outside source. So you'd have to, one way is you can treat it with water tablets. You can treat it with iodine. I heard people say they treat it with maybe a gallon of water or even 5 gallons of water with a cap of bleach. That's available. The method I would rather choose is boiling. I prefer to boil my water. Some people even go as far as to distill it. So after they strain the water they collected, they'll boil it and let the steam go through a coil, which condenses back into a collection tank as distilled water. So those are pretty elaborate. There are elaborate ways of doing so, but you always want to make sure that you have a means of collecting potable water. Now with regular water, you do also want to have a storage of regular water. That being where you will wash things with, wash clothes, because it's good to have clean clothes. And you want to make sure that at least your socks and your underwear are washed. That way take care of any foul smells. And you can get rid of any bacteria that collects in those areas. Get rid of them from the clothing. And it's kind of a morale booster. I mean, me personally, if I had to have any part of my clothes to just be washed, it would just be my socks and my boxers. And anything else they can get dirty, get cruddy, stuff like that. But if my underclothing are clean, I feel as though I'm in a better shape on the inside to go through the day. So it's always good to make sure you have means of collecting potable water, making potable water, and have water for for just general utilities. Second, food. Of course, we all need food, but some more than others. I myself have a big appetite. I always try to make sure that if I go out and buy some groceries, make sure it's enough for myself. Also, make sure it's food that food that that you want to eat. I wouldn't want to, if you're people who store up food, you want to make sure you store up food that you're actually going to be comfortable eating. I understand a lot of people have MREs, but some people may not be comfortable eating just eating MREs. I personally like soups, soups, stews, dry bread, what have you. Something if I can make a soup or a stew out of it, I'm comfortable. Uh, Food that's has vitamins, has nutrients, vitamin C, D. To make sure you have essential oils, carbohydrates, fiber. Things to keep your body running regular. Um, you also want to make sure that you get food that if there's a chance of being allergic, you want to make sure you avoid those, or if you have no choice but to use certain foods that you may have a reaction to, have a means of taking care of the reaction. Some people go into anaphylactic shock, so they have like it's a booster shot, I believe, that they stick themselves with to counteract the effects of allergic reaction. I'm allergic to peanut butter and peanuts in general. But the funny thing is, I can eat food that's fried in peanut oil. So I stay away from stuff like that. I look for any nuts that I like to buy from the store, whether it be cashews or almonds. I always check to make sure that it hasn't been in too much contact with peanuts. Not that not that it'd be devastating to me, but my allergy is not as severe as others. Also, I want to make sure it's food that you're able to prepare, on the fly. Whether it be food that you eat raw, that's good. Um, Food that doesn't, food that if you just have to heat up a little bit, that's a good thing. If you have rice, you just may need a cup of some boiling water to prepare. If you have meats, make sure you have a means of preparing the meat, storage, seasoning, and make sure that the meat that you have is well cooked. Worst case scenario would be to try to rush through the process of preparing food, and you might wind up with food poisoning, and may put you out of commission. Even worse so in an event of emergency. So you always want to make sure you have food that you can eat, food that's tasty to you, and food that you can also prepare it. Also have an adequate stock of food. Some people they say have I think it's FEMA suggests having 3 days worth of food. I myself try to go the extra mile. I believe it was Miami Prepper one. He stated 90 days, and that's the goal I went for, and I've achieved that goal. I like to go even further than 90 days, but stay within my. I also like to stay within my means. Never want to overexert myself, especially budget wise. So always good to have a a good supply of food at hand. That way, if something were to happen, where power was to go out or some unforeseen event, you don't have to freak out and have to rush over to the grocery store to try to get supplies. So that's water, food, shelter. Shelter. You want to make sure that why shelter? Well, it's protection from the elements. The elements being, in a sense, the weather, the human element, just the environment around us. We all at times need protection from the elements. It goes with shelter, having a house or a house or apartment or what have you, that's in good condition, that's stable, is able to, protect you from extreme winter, severe heat, bad rains, windstorms, stuff like that. Make sure your windows are in good shape. Make sure your roof isn't leaking. So I always wonder if you can think about it, what's more important, the roof, the window, the walls. I think they all have to be working together. They all have to be present to work together to provide adequate shelter. So if you have adequate shelter, and you can stay dry. You can stay dry during times when it's wet. You can stay cool during times when it's hot. You stay warm during times when it's cold. So shelter is important, but not just building construction wise, but clothing. Today, it's a bit cold here. It's going to get a bit cold in South Carolina. We keep our thermostat around at 70 degrees. So to compensate for that, I'm wearing this thermal shirt. It's nothing too tight. It's a regular, kind of like a regular everyday shirt. You know, it has long sleeves. You wear it out when it's a little bit colder outside. And so, you know, I'm wearing this. I have on jeans. Staying, you know, keep my body temperature. Where it's comfortable, where I'm not freezing. Then again, I'm not sweating. So, in terms of shelter, your clothing matters as well, because your clothing is also a means of protecting yourself from the environments. Whether it be from weather or just hazardous objects around. Some people I notice a lot of people who walk around with flip flops. They have like cuts in their feet. They have stubbed toes. Bandages. And me personally, I've grown accustomed to wearing boots a lot. I always found myself in environments where something fell on my foot. It's game over for me. So I've gotten used to wearing boots. I like wearing leather boots, some military boots. I actually got a pair right here. These are some boots. A friend of mine who's in the Air Force, he had these when he was in training, and he gave these to me. They're very comfortable. I've been able to walk very far in those kind of in that kind of footwear. Make sure you have good. It's always good to have good pants, good shirts, also jackets. I tend to wear like I think it's a nylon jacket. It's not rayon. It's nylon polyester. I tend to wear that. I tend to wear a hoodie like that. So everywhere I go, it's good for all weather. Keeps you dry during the rain. Keeps you protected during the wind. Provides some protection. Accompanied with a long sleeve shirt during the colder weather. It's a good. It's a windbreaker. And it's very comfortable to wear. Keeps my head shielded during if it's too wet outside. So shelter doesn't also extends further out past just having a house and a roof over your head. Um, it goes with clothing as well, because your clothing, if anything, your clothing should be your first line of defense. Make sure you have your clothing, and also make sure you have good clothing, and make sure you know how to maintain it. I have an issue where walking around a lot in boots, I wear out the heels of my socks. And one thing I got accustomed to doing is mending my socks. I never, I've done it, in years past. I mended socks, but not as often as I have, not as often as I do it today. Um, you want to make sure you know how to repair your clothing. Uh, so you have a little rip in a shirt or pants somewhere. You know how to, know how to sew it up. You know how to use needle and thread. Because a lot of things that you'll encounter will it won't be not only the lack of tools, but the lack of maintenance. Because your tools really only as good as as how you maintain them. So just like you have to have just like you're gathering water, you need potable water. You have to filter it, you have to boil it, or treat it with chemicals, to make it, so you'll be able to drink from it. If you have food, you have to maintain your food. You have to keep it keep it stored properly. You have to prepare it properly to keep yourself from getting sick. And if you have clothing or shelter, like a house or apartment or what have you, you want to make sure that you want to maintain that it's in good shape, that it can get the job done, that it can withstand the elements. Because all three things will be tested by the elements during times when everything is relatively okay, to when I guess the SHTF, or as I like to say, when the fecal matter hits the oscillating device. Well, that's my video on food, water, and shelter. I'd like to do another video soon on defense and communication and fire. Fire is very important. But that's my video. I'm Edward Jones, and you take care.